New today, a key source is suing Fox News, saying he was misquoted in their story about the murder victim, Seth Rich. You might recall this story. The story suggested it was Seth Rich who leaked emails from the DNC during the election and not the Russians. Fox News retracted the story, but that key source, Rod Wheeler, is now suing the network. Let's give you some background. Rich was 27 years old. He was shot to death in July of last year in the city's Bloomingdale neighborhood. Police say it was a random robbery. But later that month, WikiLeaks released a trove of DNC emails. Conspiracy theories then surfaced, suggesting that Rich might have been the source of the data to WikiLeaks and not the Russians. Fox News story in May quoted Wheeler, a private investigator, suggesting the connection between Rich and WikiLeaks. Here's what the White House said when asked if the White House has any involvement in the story.
The president had no knowledge of the story, and it's completely untrue that he or the White House involvement in the story. And beyond that, this is ongoing litigation, and I'd refer you to the actual parties involved, which aren't the White House.
When pulling the story, Fox News said the story was not initially subjected to the high degree of editorial scrutiny, and it would continue to investigate. But it has said nothing about the reporting being wrong. Going off script with us tonight, our own Bruce Leshan, who's worked this story for months. And Bruce, who is this guy who's now suing, bringing the lawsuit?
Well, his name's Rod Wheeler, and he says that what's going on with Fox News cost him all his credibility. But the problem is that he's had kind of questionable credibility from the start. He's worked for Fox News for a long time. He was a D.C. Metropolitan Police Department detective, but that was back in the 90s, 90 to 95. And then he was actually fired by MPD because of questions about marijuana use. He apparently had a positive urine test. Then he was accused of insubordination. He ended up being fired. But he's been talking to Fox News for a long time, and he was quoted in this story as saying some of these things that he now says were false.
Yeah. And what was revealed in this lawsuit today that's getting just national and international attention? What did he reveal?
Well, the big deal really is this question of a conspiracy, and the allegation in the lawsuit, which I have right here, is that there was essentially a conspiracy with the White House, with this wealthy investor from Dallas who's also a Trump supporter, and with Fox News to come up with this story, and that they knew there were parts of it that were false and that they pushed it anyway, and that the White House pushed it. And there's actually this tweet from the president that's right on the front page where, I mean, it's a text from this Dallas investor who says that the president had read the story prior to publication and that he wanted it out there and out there now. Now, whether that's true or not, we don't know. The investor now says he was just joking about this text.
Okay, and we're going to learn more in this lawsuit, but how is the family of this young man reacting to all this?
You can imagine. I mean, this is just horrible. The young man goes out, 27 years old, he goes out for a walk. He's coming home late at night in Bloomingdale, and he ends up getting shot twice in the back. He was actually on the phone with his fiancée at the time that this happened. He gets shot to death. Police believe that this was just a botched robbery. But all of a sudden, this crazy thing spins up on Twitter, on the internet, people making videos alleging that somehow he was involved in leaking emails and that it wasn't the Russians. And the allegation here in the lawsuit is that the White House was purposely trying to blame Seth Rich for leaking in order to get the attention off the Russians.
Have you heard any implication or any allegation or anything that would suggest that he was killed as a result of these emails?
There's nothing in there, and when you talk to the cops, they say there's nothing. I mean, they're pretty bald-faced about it. I mean, as forthcoming as they can be about a investigation that's going on. Same thing with the FBI. I mean, the allegation was that the FBI somehow had this laptop and that there was evidence of leaking on the laptop. The FBI says this is not a federal case. It's an MPD case.
Yeah, family sits there and has to absorb all
this.
And guys
and
like you trying to clean it up. Guys like you trying to clean it up. Okay.
And the family is really shaken by this. You can imagine.
Bruce Leshan. Bruce, thanks a lot for that. Appreciate it. President Trump didn't have anything to say about that lawsuit, but he did say this on Twitter. Only the fake news media and Trump enemies want me to stop using social media. Only way for me to get the truth out.